and as you sorted through the choice, a lot of names surfaced during the search from Williams to Forbes to Bach Knight, the number of people. How tough was it for you? And
it was. I wouldn't say that it was tough because of where this program is and the resources that we have, and certainly with Eric Hyman and Kevin O'Connell supporting me, and I tried to keep them abreast of what was going on. It was an onslaught, I guess you'd say, of interest. But that's not really good enough for me, because I really, it's always been important to me that I have some type of relationship with the people that I'm going to be around. And sometimes that may be a little bit unfair, but I'm not resume driven. Resumes are important, but I want to be around, people that it really is a family. You're together 24/7, and becoming great friends is probably as important as how much of mechanics Coach Myers can deal with a pitcher. So I was able to sort through it real quick. Certainly, as you know, I talked to a lot of our former players, and went through the process, interviewed some people, and the first time I had a conversation with Coach Myers, he is slow and methodical, and I knew that was the way it was going to be, and I didn't want to come on too strong with him initially. I wanted to be able to think about it and discuss it with Chris. He certainly knew that at the end of the day, that if he wanted to be here, he was going to be here. And I waited. I saved my trump card until, I guess it was Friday. And I called Chris and I said, I gave her all my recruiting spiel, and she cut me off. She said, "Didn't I hear this 14 years ago?" I said, "Okay, you got me." But it was a great conversation, and we're just happy that it ended up where it did. I just feel that it's extremely important in this program that you have somebody with great roots, great experience. Our pitching staff and the people that we have was my utmost concern, and there can't be a better person to turn these guys over to than Coach Myers.
Scott Hood from Gamecocks. Coach Meyer, obviously the facilities around here have changed quite a bit since you left. What are your thoughts on the ballpark, and also toward the new academic center and some of the other new facilities around here on the USC campus? And will those new facilities make it easier for you to recruit top-notch pitchers to come here into the program?
Oh, absolutely it will. I mean, from what I've seen, and no, I have not seen it all yet, but plan on getting very familiar with all of it. There has been, I'm sure, a lot of great additions to campus, and those things that will be attractive during official visits and campus tours and all that. But it really probably stops here. I mean, how can you top what you're going to bring them in and show them here at Carolina Stadium? But obviously it's a little bit better, and in terms of how it ranks nationally in terms of facilities than what we had before. The Sarge had its own special feel to it, and we'll enjoy all the atmosphere in every game that we remember from that old place as well, and very fond memories of the Sarge. But in terms of facilities, I don't know what more you could ask for. I've been doing this a long time as well, and you're going to go around, and it's not going to be if someone matches the facility, so what? We've got better fans, we've got more support, we've got a stronger fan base, better fans, and better quality of probably education and quality of life as a student athlete here than some other places that might also have great facilities. I think Coach Tanner didn't tell you, all you need to do is call Riley and Audrey, and it would go a lot faster. And I know Audrey said, "Am I going to get to meet Jackie Bradley Jr.?"
I was forbidden from the children. That was the rule he gave me. But we may put a little bucket over his office so it'll leak a little bit like it did at the roundhouse. So
Coach, Wes Mitchell, GamecockAnthem.com. A lot of attention was given to kind of their philosophy with his staff, kind of mixing and matching along the way. Can you maybe talk about a little bit your philosophy, kind of taking over this staff?
That's a great question from that standpoint. I think you need to look at the personnel, and I think Coach Calvin and Coach Tanner were smart enough to figure out that was what was going to work out the best, or at least they felt it would. And playing mix and match and match up throughout a game and doing the things that they have done, with what at least appeared to me a very good closer option there towards the end of the season, as good as it gets. But the thing about being successful and is being able to adjust on the fly. And you might have that game plan even as early as your first 10 games of the season, but you're getting guys that are going to emerge. You're getting young guys that are getting those significant innings under their belt that now can play an expanded role for you when it counts, when you get into league play. And you got the hot and the cold hand. And somebody gets hot, you need to have the ball in their hand a little bit more often. Some other guys cool off, you still need to try to get them hot again. And it's a 56 regular season, schedule in 14 weeks, and a lot of time to have to, experiment a whole. You need to get ready to go and figure out what kind of adjustment you need to make. And usually the staffs and the coaching staffs and the pitching staffs are able to make those quicker adjustments, are the ones that can maintain consistency and win the games.
John Whittle, thebigscore.com. First of all, welcome back, Coach Myers. Can you talk a little bit about what the assistant head coach title really means, what additional duties you may have in addition to the pitching coach? And for Coach Tanner, at least one candidate claimed to have received the job offer. Is that accurate? And was the job offered to anyone before Coach Myers?
No, that's not accurate. I've been doing this for a long time, and you don't offer a job unless it's accepted prior to. So that's not hard to go through. But question for Coach Myers?
What's the question?
About the assistant head coach.
Oh, the title. The title. I appreciate adding maybe on the outwardly, looking more important. I'm going to work just as hard. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do whatever they ask me to do. Maybe it helps me professionally one day down the road if I'm sitting in an interview, that type of thing. But I don't know that it'll add any responsibility. I think Coach Tanner's at least going to be very comfortable with giving me any kind of responsibility along the way, just as he does Coach Holbrook. I mean, we've got a vast amount of experience, and the experiences that I have had since I left here are going to make me more well-rounded as an assistant coach, and hopefully we can take advantage of that. But I appreciate adding a title. That sounds more important, but it's going to not change anything that I do. I'm just going to do what's asked and try to do it the best of my ability.
Obviously, I would be prejudiced, but I'd be hard pressed to think there was a better staff. I've always heard surround yourself with good people, but you talk about surrounding yourself in this profession with great coaches that have tremendous character and integrity, and it doesn't get any better. And when Coach Calvi left, certainly if I could have, if I could have done it in a day, I would have gotten Coach Myers back here, and it eventually worked out. So he was a target from day one, and just delighted. I have a great staff, and I've never been a micromanager. I share duties. I let guys do different things. I try to make sure they're well prepared to handle any circumstance. I'd like to think that if I'm not here, the program will run very well the next day. I don't want to miss too many days, but I feel very comfortable with the guys that I have, and the experience, the knowledge of this profession is so deep that it's great. You're talking about, now with Coach Espo, he's got 5 years under his belt. He had a couple of opportunities to leave. He stayed. And, Coach Holbrook and Coach Myers, it's just a vast amount of experience in this profession. And we feel like we can coach, we can recruit, we can manage players, and try to win enough games that you get a chance to play at the end of the year. It's not easy, but we certainly have a great coaching staff and some talented players.
To use a cliche, is it almost a dream team?
Well, if you throw me out of the mix, it might be. The only thing that's disappointing, Coach Myers, he brings height back to the staff. Now I'm back down again, but
He's LeBron.
But it's certainly a great group, no question about it. And it's such a comfort zone, and I couldn't be more ecstatic today than I am having Coach Myers and his family back in Columbia.
We're going to take 2 more questions. Yes.
Coach Tanner, is this the first time in your career you've ever had to try to convince a guy who's already a head coach to try to take an assistant job? And in doing, as you work through the process and talk to Coach Meyer, you have to change your sales pitch to try to convince someone to go from a head coaching job to an assistant job?
Well, as he mentioned earlier, there were roots here. He had fond memories of this place, and you have to remember now, in the 8 years that he spent here, we went to the College World Series 3 times. So his percentage of going while he's been a coach here is a little bit better than mine. And he, like he said, though, his children were born here. There were a lot of fond memories, and things were going well for him in Old Dominion. And I mentioned he was a USA coach, and he was Coach of the Year in that conference. And you know, they had done well and probably had a bright future, and I tried not to put a lot of pressure on him, but he knew from the get-go I wanted him to come back. And we exchanged a lot of dialogue, made a lot of points to each other, and it was more of a, you know, two friends talking through this process. And occasionally I would ask him about other candidates, but we'd always get back to him. And so it was a different approach, but I think it's the right move for him right now, and look forward to getting this thing cranked up in a couple of weeks.
Okay, Neil, last one.
Ray, are there any updates on contract talks with you in terms of extension raise, as well as maybe Coach Holbrook?
I've been focused on Coach Myers as much as I can the last few days. I know that Mr. Hyman and I've had some exchange dialogue. It's going very well. It's really good as far as where I'm sitting. I'm very happy to be where I am, and want to be able to stay here. But things are going great on that front.